Hey everybody, Dr. Ben Fung here from UpDoc Media. This video represents my 2016 predictions for physical therapy as an industry and as a profession, as well as some place in the healthcare industry at large. It's, my third year in a row doing this, and I want to thank you a shout out to WebPT for encouraging me to go ahead and do this for the third year in a row. Wasn't sure I was going to do it, but hey, why not? You can find my other predictions from 2014 and 15 linked below in this post. I'll go over down there in a little bit more detail what I actually predicted, what came true, what didn't, and I actually did a pretty good job. So I'm hoping to have some semblance of accuracy for 2016. All right, so here we go. I have 5 predictions, my top 5 predictions for 2016, starting with number 1. Number 1, I expect an enormous battle in human resources throughout healthcare, not just physical therapy, but let's just, use physical therapy because that's my home base industry as a clinician. We already know that 2016 is going to be the biggest battle to find PTs ever, primarily for home health, but it's going to be for all settings because there's going to be this new change, this shift. Millennials aren't really buying into this full-time or even part-time work. Millennials have bills to pay. They need cash. So they're going to go to where it pays best. That's going to be SNFs, it's going to be home health, and it's going to be firms that actually do stuff like profit sharing or value-based pay, which we'll talk about later. So you're going to see this big battle and big shift. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot more PRN stuff, a lot more per diem, even resource networks conglomerating together to find the best pool of PTs to service a certain area. And I wouldn't be surprised if 2016 would be the biggest year of turnovers ever, with just a lot of PTs going, hey, I'm just not getting paid enough through company A, B, or C. I'm going to go to company X, Y, or Z. So that's prediction number 1. And prediction number 2 is, something I hinted at, is value-based everything. Value-based care, value-based compensation, anything that can be exchanged or commerced will be value-based within healthcare at large. At the micro level, what you'll see is people are going to want to pay for something that is done well, done on time, and, done in the right type of volume. And people are going to pay out for that too. Companies will pay for good clinicians that can do a lot of work and do a lot of work well. It's no longer going to be about the fact that you've done something for a very long time. It's going to be about the fact that the quality and the value that you add is worth the amount that you're being paid, both as a consumer to services and firms that hire people to render that service. So keep your eye out for value-based operations throughout healthcare. Prediction number 3, continue on value. We're going to see that volume plus value wins. And what I mean is that because healthcare is going to this area of cost containment, and it's overwhelmingly so, we know from every business industry that the way to cost contain is to scale. It's always a matter of scale. If you buy 10 units of anything, it's always going to be cheaper by the unit than 1. So you're going to see kind of this gathering of forces, a lot of alliances, a lot of strategic partners being made, a lot of overlapping strategic partnerships will occur because that strength in numbers is going to play a huge role for bargaining for contracts, as well as being able to just physically handle the volume of care. Because you could be great as a mom and pop shop, but if you can't handle the volume, then nobody's going to really care. I think we're going to see this in a very, very important way, and not so much about the volume, but the quality, the value, right? What can you contribute to that ecosystem? That's actually going to be the big question, because anyone can scale, right? But can you scale and keep the value? Companies, alliances, and organizations that can actually retain, if not elevate the value despite the volume, those are going to be the ones that win out big time in 2016. All right, prediction number 4, politics. This is going to be a huge year for politics, which means politics is going to be a big play in the future of healthcare, just, not just physical therapy, but all of it. More importantly, though, it's going to be when the iron is hot and ready to strike for physical therapy to advocate for itself and for our consumers to where we can add value in this structure of healthcare. Right now, we're really far downstream in terms of the supply chain. We need to move up a couple of echelons to be front-facing providers, especially primary care providers, for physical health. Be that interpreted as musculoskeletal or, physical movement, functional movement, what have you. It doesn't really matter what that is. The fact is that we need for consumers to see that, yes, I have a primary care physician for internal health. Yes, I have a primary care provider for dental health. Yes, I have a primary care provider for my vision. And yes, we need a physical therapist to be the primary care provider for all concerns of physical health and its associated symptoms and ailments. So, number 4, politics. If you're not involved, get involved. In some way, shape, or form, you're going to have to be. It's the only way you're going to be able to protect your profession and, more importantly, progress your profession. Prediction number 5, entrepreneurial spirit. I'm expecting all sorts of PTs to come right out of school going, I'm not going to do clinical. I'm going into business. I'm going to create this, or I'm going to create that, or I'm going to tie up with a tech concern and build out big data or smart data or work on wearables or work on implantables. It doesn't really matter. It's going to happen. It's already happening right now. There are PTs coming right out of school with their shiny new DPTs, 1, 2, 3, 5 years or less, going, I've done the clinical, I was pretty good at the clinical, and guess what? I have other interests and passions. And that's wonderful because right now, and I mean really, for the last 50 years, physical therapists have kind of ground down to this microcosm of the treatment table, right? Or the inpatient room and gym. But it's so much more than that. What we have to offer is hugely more than that. So I'm encouraging those of you that are willing to take that risk, and that, that calculated leap of faith, the grit to be more than PTs have always been. I'm expecting a whole bunch of that to come out in 2016. And I encourage it. There's so much room for that. On a pie chart, we're probably only realizing 10 or 15% of where we really could be as physical therapists throughout the entire spectrum. If you look at all the other healthcare providers out there, they have expanded all over the place, creating all sorts of businesses, not just around what's at the treatment table. And I'm expecting that for physical therapists in 2016. So those are my 2016 predictions. It's going to be an interesting year. I can promise you that. But for those of you that are preparing, willing to take calculated risks, knowing where that fine line is going to be, you're going to come out way on top. So I'm looking forward to the next year, to what it has to offer, the opportunities that are going to present themselves. It's all going to be there for the taking. And for those of you going to CSM in Anaheim, I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'm Dr. Ben Fung with UpDoc Media, the content you need to know delivered with clinical precision. Take care.